All right. All right. Yeah. Mike.
Well,
Drink.
well.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mic check. Mic.
Oh man, I can't hear you. Why is that?
Oh, you can't hear me?
So I figured out one half of this, but not the other. One sec. It should be connected. Connections, Bluetooth. How do I just do audio? Check, check. Let's try it again. Maybe volume? Anything? Come on.
All right, can you hear me now?
Oh, it's killing me.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Killing me.
I said,
Because this mic should be nice. Nice like her
hey,
ice.
Alex, can you give me
The challenge
if you can
is
hear me?
it's connected for audio.
Alex,
So let me take the...
hey, can you hear me now?
Let me try connect it again.
Alex, can you?
Anything? Now I can't hear anything. Oh, hold on. Let's see if this works. Check, check.
Check.
There we go. Sorry about that.
All good, buddy. How you doing?
How's the mic sound? Did you hear anything?
Mic sounds really good, I would say.
Thanks. I've been toying around with a couple microphones. I realize I'm going to have to use the Shure because it has the headphone jack that goes in the back of the mic.
So you'll have to buy a special phone that has like professional jack, right?
Well, I have the dongle, so it plugs into the bottom, right? And it has like a bunch of ports. It's like a USB hub for your phone.
But I think it's like a conspiracy from Twitter. Just I know that my USB all headsets are sometimes working, sometimes not working, and I think it's just that they don't want somehow to people to use other devices. But of course, if you put it straight into audio jack, then that's a bit different.
So I'm trying to find, man, it's a mess of wires, eh? Because you're like, oh, this will fit. Nope. To use this, I need that. Oh, that'll fit. Nope. You need this and that. And it's like, ah, shit.
Yeah, that's what you have a drawer of wires for, right?
Oh, yes. People think you need to throw out that drawer. And let me tell you something. That drawer is gonna come in handy.
Yeah.
In the apocalypse, when you don't know how to stream on Twitter Spaces, you're gonna need that cord box.
With all those with all those power
Hey.
supplies from
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Oh my god. I electrocute myself, pick up a fucking snake, be like, this doesn't fit.
But okay, so
Man.
do you have any special microphone that you are testing? Some
Yeah. So what I tried to do is unbundle my audio from my voice. So I tried to connect a Bluetooth headset to my phone for the audio, and then a microphone to the phone for my own vocals. But it looks like that's not working. So I have a Shure MB7, and the Shure MB7 has Type C, XLR, and a headphone jack on the back of the microphone.
okay,
So-
those are terms that I no longer
Oh.
understand, but they sound cool and impressive. So
I'll
congratulations on that.
I'll take a picture for you, so you know what I'm talking about. Hold on. Like, okay. It's a really, hold on, Twitter? Yeah, that's what we're using today. Hey, KC, did you see that Stuart Pope Joy JP Morgan thing? I thought you might enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, man. We just like trying to tear down the foundation of crypto here. Is that what we are? We're the doom bringers. Is that what this is morphed into?
Is that-
Oh, hey everyone,
Yo,
look.
bro, can you believe the banks haven't heard of this shit yet? They don't even know about money, those motherfuckers. So stupid. I put up a picture of the Mike.
Okay, so but that's not USB-C, that's micro USB. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I just need to find out a cord that can help me plug in my headphones to the thing. And once I get that up here, right? If I can put my headphone through that little hole there, that's what she said.
Now I understood. Now
Yeah.
I understood what. So
Mhm.
so you don't want this, let's say, noise of everything around to mess with the mic.
Exactly.
So, okay.
So
Now.
I think I just found what I needed. So what I need to do is unplug mic 1, take off mic stand, replace that with.
The tension is building. I hope nothing explodes,
Yeah.
right?
Can you imagine? It's like my death could be recorded on Twitter Spaces. Okay. You know, hey, do you guys notice you can like download your Twitter Spaces like immediately now? It's pretty sick.
Yeah, thanks for that. I had no idea. That's pretty cool.
Oh man, it just came out. Now what I'm trying to do is thread this microphone into this holder.
I'm gonna go in Twitter Spaces and I'm gonna collect all the good songs and then just release an album.
Yeah, we just need to put a beat to it, right?
No, a lot of these people in the singing spaces are playing pianos, guitar. It's all
wow.
that. Just fucking record it, lay it down, copy paste, live recording. Bloop.
Okay, so I think I may be able to do round 2 fight with this setup. Oh, ooh. So
I'm gonna call it space music.
it could be like that album that they put out into space. You know that record of all the music?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna charge anything. I'm just gonna launch it. Wish it luck. I'm sure all the others did it.
Okay, so let me try this again. There might be some pause on my side. I apologize. Now if I go here. Is that doing anything? Mm-hmm. Is that doing anything? Oh, it's because I don't have check.
Aha, that's because you don't have.
The mic is working.
That explains a lot.
Or the headphones working. Come on. Anything? It seems like the mic. Seems like I have the mic working. Come on, love. I know we can do this.
Oh,
I
and
know you have
just to
it
get
in you.
the another thing out of the way as well. I don't know why exactly, but I had you pegged as like an opaquely white.
Bluetooth is off. Phone is in.
Can you still hear me? Oh, you'll catch that on the recording.
Let's try this. Plug into out.
You can't hear me right now. You're a funny looking man. Can't hear what I'm saying. Funny looking man. You know I ain't playing. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I got the flow, thrown like a pro. Coming at you raw, but you just don't know what I'm saying. No plan, but I know I got rhymes. Coming at you raw with good friends of mine. At my back, you know it's a fact.
Check.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I heard you the whole time. You couldn't hear me the whole time, though.
Okay, one second. Okay, so my audio is still coming through my phone still. But even without that, yeah. So when I saw that Pope Joy thing, it was about a year ago, right? It was like, he's saying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what more do you need?
NFTs are worthless. ETH.
Yes, we're in the right space now.
Oh man.
Yo,
we
they're
are
worthless, bro.
we are we've
How
just
dare you, sir? Don't
so
you know that NFTs are the future?
well dude, we are on the conversational path of destroying all of crypto here.
Um, what?
Hey,
Mhm.
NFTs are worthless. What do you think about crypto? Be they coins or tokens? What do you think about those?
So let me clarify. I do think that NFTs are actually, they do have some value, but only when they actually have utility. Like right now, they have no utility, so they're completely worthless. Um, and Bitcoin and Ethereum only.
So, first off, I would say that there are some very pale utilities out there, like a pass, like using an NFT as a pass for access is technically a utility. So I just wouldn't say
Well, I could use a hammer to, you know what I mean, to do surgery. That doesn't mean the hammer has utility vis-a-vis other avenues, right?
I just meant that the utility that is there is very, very small. Very small. I wouldn't say no utility, just very small utility. But, just to give the conversation full weight, like the musicians that are using NFTs, that is, I think, decent. That there's a decent utility there. But
I think it's just a complete money grab for everybody at this moment. I mean, until the music NFTs actually replace DRM and have some kind of distributed system, I mean, it really is, it's kind of worthless. It's just a way for the artists to be able to make a couple extra bucks, I think.
well,
Just my 2 cents.
it's weird too because when you look at the channels that are available for musicians right now, the percentage of sales that they actually get is ridiculously small. And if they have the ability to sell their music at a massively discounted rate, but they still get, a lot more than they would have before. I don't know. That's the conversation, I guess. But really, when we say, for the current the crypto side of assets and currencies, coins and tokens, and we say Bitcoin and Ethereum, um, the conversation recently has been, yeah, but the floor of that value is institutional money that was there before anyone started freaking out about Bitcoin and parabolic runs and Ethereum and L2 capabilities and utilities. The floor was already set by the institutions.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that really, in my mind, the Fed is probably heavily involved through obviously the banking system. But I think that they completely pumped all of the crypto purposely to be able to manipulate it and gain control over it the same way that they do gold and silver and the same way that they do the stock market. So I mean, to me, it's nothing really different. Once they started trading in parity with the stock market, I instantly knew that they had full control over what it was going to do next.
Okay, so here's the only question I have on it. Is it possible that if every crypto investor dumped their bags for either USD, straight hold USD on a platform or stable coin, and exited all positions in mass, that the institutions would be left holding a dead bag? Like, is there a way for the crypto sphere as a community?
Well, look at that in reverse. If all of the odd lots holders, right? If all of the smallholder farms left, how much money would actually be wiped away from the system? Is it 5%? Right? If all of the people who held the bottom 98% wallets left Dogecoin, how much would the price change? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I have a firm belief that that individual investors only own between maybe 20 and 40% of the actual market.
Exactly.
The rest of it is completely financed by the Fed and manipulated to be able to, you know, institute psychological control over the people.
That's
But
what
I mean,
Tether is for, right? Tether
yeah,
allows for the inflow and outflow of that. And I think you got to understand, like, this conversation was relevant 6 months ago, but because the tide was high, nobody gave a fuck, right? Now that the tide is low and everyone's naked, they're like, wait a minute, it's getting cold outside.
yeah. I think one of the funniest things is to see people talk about freedom and how Bitcoin is going to be, you know, it gives them freedom to do X, Y, Z. But as soon as the market drops, they want to call daddy. They want daddy to come in and bail them out.
Isn't it sad how something can drop by 10%? They're like, you know what? Fuck what I thought I wanted. I still just want my bag to go up. You're like,
Exactly.
really? 10% is all it took? Man, you've been flying that flag of freedom for 2 years, and now all of a sudden you drop by 20%. You're like, fuck it. Let's go back. Joseph Stalin was right.
Oh,
You know?
you just
It's like as soon as everything dropped, they're like, yo, guys, we need regulation. I'm like, so you don't want any of this, is what you're saying.
so it's such a and it's such a weird thing because you get into the space and you start listening and absorbing the conversations, and it's this promotion of we're free, we've escaped the shackles of the system that have been oppressing us, we're free. No, you ain't free nothing. You're deluding yourself. That's crazy talk. You ain't free shit.
But isn't it if you were selling something like that, wouldn't you want people to have that feeling about your product?
Oh yeah, hope with a sense of urgency. Oh, we're making money. That's a money plane right there.
Hope, fear, doubt. Jesus. Fucking scary. It's kind of like I told Kurt this. It's kind of like LARPing. You know, I'm live action role playing a hedge fund.
With my cardboard box stock market and my duck.
You're an asshole. See, you're a mean person, dude.
Well, see, like to your freedom comment just a second ago. I mean, a lot of people they don't realize that instituting Bitcoin and any kind of blockchain technology is actually it's actually chaining. It's literally chaining them down. If you look at that people are they're so inside their bubble they can't just take a look at China and see what they instituted. It's the same thing. It's just in the U.S., we have to lie to everybody and tell them that it's about freedom. In China, they'll just tell them the truth and say they're oppressed. So
The Ministry of Truth.
it's a sad thing.
There were some jokes about this, about like what would happen if all internet activity was blockchain registered, and the devastation that would bring to the Pornhub community. Forevermore, for infinity.
Well, they say most new technology is tested in porn, though, right?
Yeah, that's where it starts.
All of those encoding codecs and shit like that. Those are big. All of those video encoders are huge business, dude.
See, and that's what's wild to me is I've created like multiple business plans surrounding crypto and all kind of stuff to like kind of flush out some of my ideas to see if they make any sense. And the original idea that I did have was to have a porn site, and essentially you just have tons of microtransactions because I believe in the future that everything that
By the
you
way,
do,
I'm triggered by microtransactions on a porn site. By the way, keep going.
everything that you do will be an extremely small microtransaction. So if you were to like somebody's post or whatever, then it would be like a fraction of a cent or something like that. But
Is sperm the most basic microtransaction of humans?
say that again.
Is sperm the most basic microtransaction that humans engage in?
I mean, I guess.
I think
Serious.
depending on the load, I think saliva might be instead.
Depending on the load, it could be front end loaded or back end loaded feeds. I think back end loaded is when someone gets pregnant, right?
Yeah, there's no ZK roll up on that one. You're not going to strike your way out of that.
You are the wallet holder.
That transaction is immutable.
It's gonna fuck up the rest of your life. You know, it would. Can you imagine they start processing alimony through MetaMask wallets? It's fucking over.
Oh.
Oh my god! I didn't even think about that.
Oh shit! Anne Marie is here. What's up, Anne Marie? Dude, that is so.
Yes, evolve.
Child support on the blockchain. Holy shit!
Everything on the block. So there was this conversation a while back where we were kind of just hypothesizing if you had individual self-custody chains that are parachains, you could have every single person could have their own blockchain. It just has to be paralleled to their main chain of choice, be it Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever. And the data from your life is the data filling the nodes of that chain.
You've heard of the self-sovereign ID?
Maybe.
So the self-sovereign ID is essentially like a bunch of people in blockchain saying that, yeah, it's nice to have all this cool stuff, but when it comes to identity, how do we share? Like, say we want to do a transaction. I want to buy a house from you. How might I use my self-sovereign ID to only expose the due diligence that you need to verify the transaction?
I love all of these ideas that people have, but people don't realize that this whole thing is just going to come completely full circle, just like YouTube and everything else.
Mhm.
Like, it was great in the beginning, and it was such a good idea because it was different, but we're going to end up again, we're going to have banks, and we're going to have centralized institutions that are gatekeepers that essentially we don't touch L1 chain.
I was talking to Ruben Metcalf, and he said, "Welcome to the internet. Dozens of websites await you."
Oh, that's good. I
love that guy.
Ruben.
He
Can
is
I just
awesome.
say, Ruben is the shit. Yeah, I love talking to Ruben.
Ruben is so smart.
Oh, he is literally. He is. He's like the. He's so
Dude.
smart. Yeah.
Did you hear him last night talking to the VC guys?
No, man, his voice is so smooth. That guy could insult you, and you'd like thank him for it.
I have multiple times.
Yep, I've been witness to it. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I know. We all used to hang out for hours and hours in the wee hours of the morning, like before Christmas time. Yeah, it was fun.
In the before times.
In the before times. In the before times. I.e. 2 months ago. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So self-custody identity, right? So it's this alternative to your standard government issued ID. Is the idea, right?
Yeah, that's unrealistic.
So, I mean, yeah, to a point, but it's the use of the tool of the technology more so maybe than what it's being used at now. Like, I'm hoping you're wrong. Like, I think you're right, but I'm hoping you're wrong. I'm hoping
Yeah, I hope so too.
right? Like the technology itself is pretty awesome, but it's being handicapped by the monetization.
They say scale economies are the first power that determine everything else about your business, right? And if you're going to try to go up against, if you're going to try to have a money, it's like trying to pick up a sword and fight with Goliath.
I got work call. I'll be back.
All right. Oh man, it's a beautiful day. Holy.
Where are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
I am in, I'm just an hour from Toronto.
How was the plant I gave it?
Oh,
Did you get in
the plant was great.
Yeah, I get you another one.
Okay, another one? Summertime.
It's okay?
Yeah. I love. All right, brother. So, to talk to my Jamaican. Hey. Sorry. My weekly meet with my Jamaican. It is true what they say about people from Canada.
What is that? Because
Because we legalized it over here, right?
oh yeah.
But the thing is, like, you know, still trust my Jamaicans. But so NFTs, it seems like you haven't given up on the space, but you're very sober about what you need to bring to the table before even pressing play.
Yeah, I've spent years thinking about and just watching the entire market, but I don't particularly hold on one second. I don't particularly in my mind there should be things that are completely standardized across the board and done completely differently. And I'm very surprised that the different entities that handle that standardization or implement those kind of things haven't been more involved in the Web3 space. Like, for example, W3. Like, I don't really understand.
Right.
I don't understand why they're not more involved. I don't understand. There's a lot of stuff like that. Like IEE. I mean, I understand that they're doing some blockchain stuff, or they have some DARPA stuff, and then that whole rabbit hole. But at the same
And
time,
then WebAssembly, right?
yeah, at the same time, it's like I don't know the whole. I guess my thing is that they focused so much on VR, XR, and AR, but they haven't really focused on actual utility implementation cases like for today, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of things that are not going to go away anytime soon that still need to be like kind of merged into the blockchain because it's going to be a slow progression. So those things should come first, I would think. But I don't know. I'm just surprised by the movement of the market.
Yeah, even when Ruben was talking yesterday about like having a protocol for attribution of music, he says if you look at the attribution deals, they often add up to more than 100. So how the fuck do you implement that smart contract in math?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right? It blew my mind. I'm like, so you're saying that given the amount of, this person made the kick drum, this person made the snare, this person played sax, all of a sudden you have people claiming 200% of a song.
That's interesting. That's an interesting. I guess they're gonna have to get divided. I mean, that's
or to hold on to their value, they develop their own platforms, right? Like right now, today I use not DistroKid, Ditto Music. Upload the song, wait 2 weeks, get the ISRC code, and I'm done. And it's in all the stores. You'd have to have a pretty compelling argument for me to change that process.
Yeah. It I don't know. I've mapped out a couple of things. I am a true believer that NFTs should be the universal format for everything that is metaverse, XR, VR, image, video. It should be literally everything, and it should be everything Web3, and then have attributes to be able to distinguish the file type that it needs to act as. And I'm a firm believer that that's the direction that everything should go, because it would create a standard wrapper around literally everything in Web3, and then you just plug it in. And the problem is that all these people are trying to create these standards for these specific use cases, and that's not going to do shit for anybody besides make it way more difficult. And I like I said earlier, I'm just surprised to not see that happening. But it is one of those things that I have mapped out in detail extensively how it should be done. I really don't know the right people to even talk to about it.
I was yesterday I was talking to a few folks, and there was a few companies that I thought were interesting enough, not to say that they would ever succeed, right? But one was Ecofolio, which was looking at bringing forests on chain, right? And today you can like invest in a forest and get paid on photosynthesis. Right. Another one was an agriculture play in Africa, and they've deployed multiple solutions. So I think when I talk to investors, they say, "What do you need?" So if you can do this, I don't understand why you need a blockchain.
Oh yeah,
That's the number one question I hear, and there's no easy way around that. There's like, no, this is how we get more money for our equity today. Is that the only reason we're doing this? Is because we get paid more money instead of doing it with a regular database?
yeah. I mean, I have seen that, and it's funny because I've been involved in those kind of conversations. Like, do we add a blockchain just to evaluation a little bit?
Blockchain, AI, ML. That's the deck.
It's like, can we just add it somewhere so we can drop it in when we're doing the pitch? So yeah, that's a big problem.
Well, I think when the tide is high, it's attractive. When the tide is low, it's unattractive, right? It's what the learner learns is a function of the environment they live in. So it stands to reason that in times of boom, it helps your pitch. In times of bust, or a bear, at least, it doesn't. So there's probably a lot of startups that said, you know what, let's delete the blockchain's bullet point and let's go out with the pitch.
That's funny, but it's probably so true. I mean, I'm in cybersecurity, and it's.
Oh no way!
Yeah, it's really.
I DJ'd a cybersecurity event a couple of weeks ago.
You did what?
I DJ'd and played music for a cybersecurity conference a couple of weeks ago in Toronto.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Is that what you do? Is DJ?
No, I'm just I'm a glorified headhunter, right? So so I just know a bunch of folks, and because I play Steel Pan, I've been playing their events for a while, and so I just started playing music as well. But it was all like CISOs, CISAs. I think they had the founder or co-founder of Cloudflare talk.
Yeah, that's a smart dude.
Yeah. It's funny enough, the event was called Canadian Women in Cybersecurity, so it was like 500 people. It was great. It's a good time. They're actually doing the next event is actually going to be more of like a clubbing type event where it's like more music focused and just people hang out. If you're ever in Toronto, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually never been to Canada, and it's one of the places that I do really really want to go. I mean, I planned on doing a road trip right when COVID was coming, so kind of killed it. But
well, we have a chief information security officer. Obviously depending on the level you're at, right? It's a closed door meeting with about 500 CISOs and their closest people. So this is like the third one they're doing.
Yeah, I'm VP of engineering for the company that I'm at, but I do hold the CISO hat.
Nice.
for our compliance. So,
Amazing. You know where the bodies are buried.
oh yeah, it's terrifying, but it's okay.
Well, I think that's why you've been so cautious, because you know the wizard behind the screen,
Oh yeah,
behind all of the hand waving, right?
oh yeah,
After all the hand waving is done.
yeah. I've seen a lot of different things because we specifically handle 0 days in ransomware.
Shut your mouth.
So
No way. What a thing to specialize in. I specialize in 0 days. Well, I'm gonna take my pitch and go home then. You win.
So it's really interesting. It's
How
fun.
do you
It's fun.
specialize in 0 days?
Our
Where
core
would you
focus-
begin? Day -1?
Our core focus is just 0 days in ransomware, but I've been writing code since I was a kid, so that's it came natural to me to be able to do that.
I gotta find this thing because I was talking to. Well, I figured out how to download. The reason I was trying to fuck with my mic is because I was trying to figure out because I figured out how to download MP3s of the Twitter Spaces, right,
After
without
it's
going
over?
into the archive,
Yeah.
right, and so I cut. It's actually we were talking about. I was comparing these stable coins to cybersecurity. I'm like, exactly how many black hat people have you had walk in the door and try to fuck with your system? 0? Well, what are we talking about then? Right? So I was
Yeah.
able to download the MP3, put it into Adobe. Adobe does the auto transcribe, found a background, exported the video. So I just put it at the top.
Nice. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that. That's a goal of mine.
It wouldn't make sense to a lot of people, but you would understand it.
Yeah. Do you hold on one second.
Hmm.
Do you are you working on any projects or anything?
Always.
You remind me of like you brought up the MP3 thing. Where I don't know, somebody mentioned that to me the other day, and I don't know. I'm connecting a dot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, so just to give you a little background, like I've been a recruiter for about 20 years, and I took a break to do some time in finance and stand up. And then I came back to work, and over the past few years, I've been exchanging what I do, which is essentially putting together teams for equity.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I figured, if I'm gonna introduce you to your inner circle, well, why would I only want money in return?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So, like, from cybersecurity to thermoelectric energy. I mean, we're doing it at the African Canadian Investment Summit in Toronto in the first week of July. right? We're sending down school bags and building a school in Ghana, all that kind of stuff. It's always different.
That's
You know, we're doing bare bones infrastructure projects so people can become cabling technicians. It's all over the place.
wow, that's interesting. So you get to touch just about anything and everything. I mean,
That's it.
that's really cool, actually.
It's I get bored very easily. You know, once you see the category for what it is, you know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, so you have a 2-pizza team and this is how the nodes connect and this is what the shape looks like. And every time you grow in magnitudes of 3s and 10s, and every time you grow in a magnitude of 3 or 10, you change the shape that's optimal. Okay. Sounds good. That's the way I look at it. It's obviously more messy than that because people are people, and so am I.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been working for this company for I actually got in pretty much on the ground floor.
Well,
When I walked in, there was it was me and one other guy, and that was it. And when I came on board, I had a totally different idea of what it was, but I had a startup before that, and so I exited that and joined this team because I thought, I have some weird obsession with startups for some reason. It just
or
does
it can be
something.
a version to large companies, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. For some reason, I just love it. So maybe it's the fast pace, but I walk in, it's me and this other guy, and I literally had to build out all the systems and processes from the ground up over the past 3 years. And our last valuation was 500 million. So it's like when I walked in there, there was nothing. Now we have literally everything. And it was it was so much fun. Like, I guess the point of what I'm trying to say is it's like, I don't know. I don't know why I love that so much, but I guess I'm almost to the point to where, I've completed what I needed to do here. Like, it's a well-oiled machine, and at some point you kind of automate yourself out of things, and then you have people doing everything for you. So it's like, what's next? So I'm almost to that point, and I've really been looking at Web3 and blockchain, and I have a whole repertoire of ideas, and I have one that I'm highly, highly focused on, but I don't know. It's coming in the very near future.
So do you think you'll end up your next move will be launching your own, or do you think you'll always kind of keep 15 or 20 hours for,
Yeah, see, that's
for a $250,000 a year?
yeah. Yeah, that's my that's the thing. I've been asked that. Like, I've actually had the CEO and I were pretty good friends, and he asked me that. He's like, "Well, when you leave to start your own company," and I haven't even said anything to him. He just knows, and he's like, "When
What
you
if
leave to start."
what if you did a spinoff and they funded it?
See, he said, you let me know when you do that. I was like, all right, and he was like, well, if you want to, stick around for, a couple hours a week or something, it definitely wouldn't bother us at all. So it's like offer on the table too. Interesting prop, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm really even telling you this, to be honest.
It's okay. I'm a headhunter. I'm supposed to have these conversations. I apologize. I can't help myself. But it's just one of those things, right? I actually like, when it comes to cybersecurity, because I met the guys because I was playing Steel Pan for them. Like, I have my Steel Pan here, right? And
Yeah.
so I started playing with them, and then I did a documentary for them because nobody really knew I was a headhunter, right?
Mhm.
So now all of a sudden I'm sitting in front of these people and asking them, so let me ask you something. In a state of, if we have nation state attackers, what hope does any one corporation have? Right? You know, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did the documentary, kept playing gigs for them. You know, they had, hackathons. They have a cyber Olympics, all that kind of good stuff. You know, they have a VR course for cybersecurity where they parachute you into an incident, the whole 9 yards.
That's the real fun stuff right there.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is Durham College over here has a mixed reality studio. Right?
Yeah.
So it's when you combine those two. So they have an AI and cybersecurity hub, but they also have the mixed reality studio. Put those two together. They're even doing Dungeons and Dragons like war games to war game out cybersecurity incidents using literally D&D gameplay.
That's funny that you say that. That's funny.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're in a great position, and if most companies are created during recessions, the timing is right.
Yeah.
I think that if you're focusing on 0 days, then the only next step is to focus on 0 minus 1 days.
Yeah. I guess 0 days and ransomware are the thing. Like, really, so I guess to rewind a little bit.
I actually have someone that would want to meet you.
Really?
I swear to God, he's just outside of Washington, Potomac, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me post it at the top. You're gonna know exactly what it is. As soon as you see it, boom, boom, boom. All right, I put it to the top. I actually invited him to the space. I hope he's up. Ahmed. But check it out, safe.ai.
I love Twitter.
Yeah, I just put it at the top.
Okay. I hadn't loaded yet, but oh, there. I'm reading.
Take your time. I'm just messaging him now, see if he's free.
Oh, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ahmed. The reason I like Ahmed is because he's a amazingly clear communicator when it comes to his presentations. He has this presentation called I Am My Worst Enemy. A first-person look at insider threats, Ahmed Massoud. I was like, man, you gotta tell me more. He's like, you are your own worst enemy. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, who's better at hacking you? Someone who knows your passwords or someone who doesn't? Good point. So what the fuck do we do then? He's like, well, first we have to prevent their ability to delete the crown jewels. And so I'm going to take a 1,000 screenshots a second or some shit. And I have the encoding for it.
This is interesting. I wonder. I have so many questions.
One sec. Let me do this. Let's see if we can make a lab connection happen. Ahmed, where's Ahmed? Who would have thought? Okay.
This is similar to. I say similar, but the idea is somewhat similar to a piece of software that's embedded in the software that I work on. I guess in thought it would be the same, but this is completely different as a whole.
You know, he answered, so I think I might be able to grab him. One sec. Let me copy this. And who's the truth? Ahmed.
If I'm understanding this right, I mean, this could be used for like, in the future, the move is to move away from individual device data management completely and have pretty much everything in the cloud. So, in essence, you could, on your local, when you do have that data storage, I guess you could, in theory, have something like this. Tie it back to that. I don't know. I'm just thinking how I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, no, I just texted him. I think he'll pop in any moment now. It's just one of those things where, there's not a lot of people, I imagine, that can understand you when you go a few levels below the ice.
Yeah.
Very few people, right? And the only other person I know that can go under the ice like this is, well, there's a small handful, let's say, but Ahmed would be one of them. And that's what he created. He told me he created he thought about creating it after a law firm that had been around for maybe 100 years was taken down. So they had 2 successive attacks and their reputation was done. And they had to sew up shop. Let's see. Actually, it's funny because one of the colleges here was looking for a teacher for their honors in forensics.
Okay. Yeah. I apologize. When I see something new like that, my mind goes crazy. So I'm like, I get stuck in this thought bubble
No,
for
no,
like
no.
10 minutes.
I'm pretty sure you can install it, right? Through the docs, curl it in or whatever. So the docs are, here, I'll send it to you. Docs.safe.ai. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything that you said. All I heard was docs, and that was it.
Oh, I sent you the docs. Docs.safe.ai.
Okay.
Have you ever used Spatial for the virtual reality? Send it here.
What the heck? Okay. No, I haven't been able to use it. But I have seen some stuff about it.
I did an art gallery in it. NFTs. It's nice because what they did is they brought in like costumes for the avatars, so it's getting slowly and slowly more liquid.
God, I'm so sketched out about links. Holy crap! Like, that's one thing I've always hated is the fact that when I'm on Twitter, I wish there was a better way, but it's okay. Okay, so the only thing about this safe AI, so is that how you say it? Safe?
I think yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing about that, like I've dug through all of it at this point, but the only thing about it that, like for example, the software that I work on, it is more of a proactive approach, and I guess it in in the case of Safe, it's more of a reactive approach.
Gotcha.
So I would be interested in asking him questions along the lines of like, what if there is software on the system that it is infected, and say you do have like some kind of crazy boot kit that's nation state level that's able to spread across your network and is constantly trying to encrypt these devices. Um, that's going to be something that's never been seen before. All of your stuff is going to get encrypted, even though you can reverse it. Shouldn't have a massive amount of downtime. I don't know. I'm curious about questions like that.
So when if I'm not even sure how much you can tell me, but like where are we vis-a-vis 0 days? Because it's like a 0 day is a 0 day. Is it just how quickly you can respond and mitigate damage? or is there something more that we can do?
Well, the software that I work with is proactive. So um, essentially,
Proactive, like offensive? No,
well, yeah.
could be.
I,
Okay, tell me. Yeah, because that's what I was asking. I'm like, so we talk about cyber security in terms of defense. What? So tell me. I'm curious.
Yeah, so normally, so you have a normal solution like a Carbon Black or something like that, and those solutions they normally just monitor, scan your system to see what's out there. Normally, they have some kind of machine learning or AI that's scanning the files. They send them to a database. They check hashes and whatever. So,
Anomalies. Yeah.
so um, that is a different approach than what we take. So, for example, if you were to launch a file, you, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to say this. If you were to launch a file, we control that. We control all of that. So instead of you being able to run or execute any code whatsoever throughout any of your system, it's no longer possible. So regardless of what the executable type is or anything, um, from the depths of the machine, it can't run to execute malicious code.
How do you differentiate malicious from unmalicious?
So we take a different approach. We have 24/7 SOC that is operated by humans because we only focus on ransomware and zero day.
Operated by humans? How dare you?
Well,
Don't you know we're in the future?
it's a unique approach. But
It's a unique approach.
our success rate is
Sorry.
very high actually. So because we filter out and we're a secondary solution, so we run side by side with like a Carbon Black or something like that.
So so are the humans for intuition?
So they are there to, yes, essentially there needs to be a human element involved when it comes to software that's never been seen before like that.
Right, right. Well, I was talking to she was running the cybersecurity program at a university, and I asked her, what can school teach? And she said intuition. So that's what popped into my head.
Yep.
Huh. So you've created a transhuman solution for cybersecurity, which I guess every solution is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, go high enough, everything's centralized. Mel Gibson. Remember that movie? Go high enough, there's always one person. Or in this case, in crypto, one Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
So I can't imagine what would interest you to work on next.
It
Unless you
hasn't.
completely like break away. Are there unsolved mysteries you haven't had a chance to touch?
So I think my next focus is probably going to be like I said, Web3, and the specific idea area that I'm kind of focused on is ransom, holding NFTs ransom and thefts, theft and oh my god, I can't talk. Theft and theft of NFTs. So holding them ransom and theft. Additionally, the ability to um, the ability for those users to be able to get their assets back or reissued. So
Well, it's I know that like whenever there's a hack, there's a bunch of Twitter accounts will be like, it's this wallet, and then this wallet's sending the money here and here and here. Right? I imagine it's an entirely different thing to try to reverse those things.
Yeah, so everybody's approach seems to be a blacklisting approach, which is fine. It needs to be that way since we're at the beginning of the
Mhm.
movement. Once we get to the later stages, though, it would definitely need to be more of a whitelisting type solution. So my thought process is that if NFT projects could be completely KYC'd on the front end, and then the users are essentially insured when they buy into these projects, in a sense, and they
Is
have
it
the
know your
ability
client or know your wallet at this point?
to do what?
Is it know your client or know your wallet?
For the project, for anybody that hosts a project, it would be definitely KYC and wallet as well. But people need to know who is doing these projects, and they need to be held accountable to be able to weed out any fraud.
I'm just thinking about the whole Terra Luna Do Kwon, right? That guy's, where is that guy?
Yeah.
Right? With the KY, I wonder how much of the KYC takes the sexiness out of the JPEG. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I know, right? So you mean I'm just buying a picture?
Yeah. So I mean, my thought process is that users will go to this site, they'll be able to sign up to be able to have secure NFTs, and essentially, I was talking to a friend of mine about this at some point. We were trying to figure out how to do dynamic NFTs, and I did extensive work with vector graphics at one point. So I found that there's a way to be able to do the dynamic NFTs on chain so that you don't have to store them off chain, which is a problem through NFT projects. Through that entire process, I realized that, oh my God, there is a ransom problem and there is a theft problem, even though it's not talked about as much as it should be. It's going to ramp up just like ransomware and everything else. So,
when you say ransomware, are you talking also about like miner extracted value? And people,
so what I'm talking about is people stealing the assets from the wallet and holding them ransom and making people pay to get them back.
oh wow.
Yeah, so that will be a huge thing in the future, I feel. So
I have to send you this article. Is written by a Japanese account, and it blew my mind because they actually created NFT projects to kind of stress test everything. And they were like, look, we can make one NFT seem like three different pictures depending on where you're looking at it. And they made an NFT that people could add parts of the image and make a new NFT.
yeah, that's kind of what I originally was looking at when I
Yeah,
was
they
doing.
could check it out. You'll have to translate it to English, but you're gonna love what they built. They really stress tested this thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that.
Oh my god! Well, like to your point, like about storing the assets off chain, right? They were
Yeah,
like, okay, so if it's stored off chain, and they started really fucking with it. So they made an NFT look like one thing on OpenSea, another thing on Rarible. It looked like a piece of shit in your wallet. And then they got kicked off of OpenSea. And the NFT they owned got deleted from their wallet. And they're like, this is Web3?
wow.
I'm like, is anybody else seeing this shit? You know what? Never mind. Never mind. I'm just ruining the party. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna take a deep dive into that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. Maybe if we call this something, like VGX to the moon, we'd have more people interested, but oh well.
Yeah, when I was trying to figure out the dynamic NFT thing, I was actually making a joke with my friend about it.
Hmm.
And NFTs, they're supposed to be immutable, but that's completely unrealistic when you start giving people tickets to like a baseball game or something, and they need those tickets reissued because they lost their phone or their wallet, and something realistic happens. Um, so uh,
You're telling me something in the physical world can have effects in the digital world?
yeah. Yeah, I feel that people have completely forgotten about that through this whole process. I don't understand it.
Well,
But
the energy companies I've talked to, like the hydro companies, they realized really quickly that they had to merge what they called IT and OT together. And there was like a tug of war between the engineering and the IT department on whose accountability was going to be. Kind of like a schism between cybersecurity and physical security.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. So you worked with energy companies? Is that what you
Yeah.
just said?
Yeah, they were looking for SCADA engineers at the time. I was like, what the hell is that? And then I had to find out, oh, that's what a PLC is. So you're saying PLCs control all these valves? And now you're looking at, the first thing 0 day I heard about was Stuxnet.
Oh yeah.
And then when I was doing, after I went to play Steel Pan for the breakfast, I was doing the documentary in the afternoon. And I was asking the energy guy, right, the CISO, I'm like, so can I ask you about Stuxnet? And he's like, sure. I'm like, so what fuck does any company have against a 0 day? And he's like, well, we work with various 3-letter agencies and blah, 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 you know? But at the same time, um, you don't know if it's, because of the way that you can, you know, make your IP address seem like it's coming from anywhere. Attribution is still very difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and then I saw that blackout in Manhattan. I'm like, oh no, is it coming back on us? Holy fuck!
Are you talking about the one where everybody evacuated Manhattan and walked across the bridge?
It was a flash blackout, maybe about a year ago, 18 months, maybe.
Oh, okay. I did not
Right?
know about this.
Yeah, it was a blip, right? And they were like, oh, it's just like some technical error. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Probably not, and we'll probably
You
never
know?
know the truth.
No, right? But it was hiring these SCADA engineers and these network engineers for like NERC SIP compliance audits. Right? Like, oh, one sec. That's on Ed. All right, sorry about that. I was just talking to Ahmed.
Yeah.
Um, he said he wanted to chat with you. So Ahmed is taking on it. I sent you his Twitter. Yeah, he wanted to chat with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you
yeah.
for that.
No worries. It's funny, like, not to brag, but like his software that he built was used to protect the Harry Potter manuscript.
That's so
Nuts.
random and awesome at the same time.
Nuts. I interviewed that guy for a couple of hours. Um, the capital of Canada is in Ottawa. It's Ottawa, actually, and so that's where he went to school. And he initially got a job because they were looking to do GPS reconciliation with a bulletin board service. And at the time, he ran the large bulletin board service in Ottawa. So that's how he got his start.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at his profile right now.
Mm-hmm. Let me send you his LinkedIn. Ahmed Saif. You'll love the presentation on his LinkedIn. You are your own worst enemy. It's my favorite. There you go. He has a funny story about the purple hair too.
You read my mind. I was about to say something. I was going to say that's awesome.
Do you remember the story about the purple hair with Ahmed? Hey, Mr. Purple Hair. There he is. He can tell you the story himself. I don't know your name, but NFTs are worthless. Ahmed. Ahmed, NFTs are worthless.
NFTs are worthless. And hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. My name is Matt, by the way.
Hi, Matt. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So, what is your name? Attract Funding.
Mike.
Mike. He reached out to you. I guess he said that we definitely needed to speak. So.
Yes, he just said, "Come on my spaces. You need to speak to this person." So here I am.
So
Yeah.
I was interested in Matt because of I asked him what he's doing, and he's working on 0 days in ransomware. I'm like, who the hell works on 0 days in ransomware?
Well, I do. I work on 0 days in ransomware too. So.
So I took a look at your software, Safe.
Yeah.
That AI.
Yeah. Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the don't go by the state of the website. It's being redeveloped, but the software is much more robust than the website right now.
Yeah, I have so many questions. Do you mind if I ask?
Oh no, by all means, go ahead.
Okay. So so just from a high level view, and I may be completely wrong, and please correct me, but it seems like it's more of a reactive or defensive type approach. So I guess my question is like if someone was to essentially trigger something on the machine, rootkit it, whatever, and they were able to spread laterally across the network and then deploy their ransomware and say that it's like essentially it could, like, I guess in a way DDoS your software to the point to where it would keep trying to unencrypt. How does that functionality work there?
Okay,
I'm really
that's a very good question. So, its design is a little different. Okay, so let me just step back a little bit and tell you how it's deployed in real life, because that will probably answer some of the questions. So the first thing is that it is a file system that's developed under Linux, and it is sidecarred onto Windows networks. Okay, so that's part one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing is that the way it's exposed into the Windows world is through something like Samba or KIFS or NFS or something. So that's part two. Now let's assume that somebody that we've got a process that has spread laterally, and everyone on every computer on the network decides to do massive writes on the file system to destroy the data, right? That's the situation. Am I building the
Yes.
scenario up correctly? Okay. So from an I/O perspective, we have demonstrated that you can literally destroy the entire file system, and it will let you go ahead and do that. Okay, so just go with this for a second. It will not. So it doesn't react to the destruction synchronously, if that makes any sense. That is an async process, and it is out of band with the I/O that is being requested of the file system. So, and you can revert it. You can revert that, and you can revert. And we've practically shown that we can revert, like what the test that we ran was on a 1.5 petabyte volume with appropriate hardware, obviously, that we could revert back to sane state within an hour. Like it was like 70-ish minutes, something like that. The internally, there's two components. One is a machine learning layer, which is divided into multiple small parts. So one is constantly only looking at the integrity of the data and what is the entropy that's being introduced in the data. The second is this behavior change in processes doing too many writes. And when something like that happens in enforcement mode, because it is a kernel level engine, or at least there's a kernel component, we can simply isolate that process and redirect it into a honeypot, or just kill the process kill the processes that are trying to do that, or isolate it based on user ID, group ID pairing. Okay, so that's second. The third is that even if the process completely succeeds and the AI is defeated, underneath it is a log structured append-only file system that is snapshotting the complete journal state at the rate of anywhere between 5 seconds and half a second. So you can go anywhere from 17,000 to 200,000 snapshots a day. Now, what's interesting is the rollback procedure can actually look at that journal and isolate all of the corrupted assets out, even across across time. So it's not rolling back to a single timeline. It's actually recovering all of the valid blocks and creating a new head of the data through multiple memoirs. Think of it as it's not quite like Git blocks, but imagine being able to merge valid data out into the head of the file system across thousands of snapshots. And it's assisted by the fact that every block is maintaining its own record of how chaotic it became, and that's pre-indexed. So you're not stuck with having to do a post analysis in order to recover the data. Now, if that index is corrupted, you can do post analysis and still recover the data. It would take a longer time because it's reanalyzing everything. But typically, that is not required. And now your attack surface is no longer the entire network. Now, as far as the DDoS is concerned, there are standard techniques to just to just limit the I/O and do a quality of service on the I/O based on who's requesting valid or invalid I/O, continuously, and the alarms go up, soon enough, and someone can go and take care of the processes that are doing the attack. So it's not that we're saying that we're stopping the attack, because essentially that is a losing battle. This is the other side of that coin. There's more than good, technologies that are out there that are constantly doing threat hunting, providing zero trust. But this is more of a zero trust enabler right at the data block level. And then it uses appropriate scheduling techniques to countermand or counteract the scenario that you're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Does this so?
Sorry, you're
Oh,
cutting
I got
out,
a
my
phone
friend.
call. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a list of questions now. So does this work on like network drives, for example? And if so, how does that work?
Say that once
Does
again,
this work
please.
on like network drives? Like, for example,
Oh, for example,
like I guess that's a bad example. Does it work on externally stored drives that are not attached to a computer?
well, so this in itself is essentially it ends up becoming a network attached storage, or you could potentially deploy it as a storage area network driver, right? But essentially, you would use it in. So the use it does it work with external NAS? Is that what you're asking
Yes. Yeah.
for? Yeah, it is. It really, literally, you can thinly provision it on an external NAS. That provisioning tends to be more technical, but typically it becomes your NAS, right? It is a NAS solution, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So is this index is it stored locally only?
Oh no! So this is it's not just an index. It is a full blown file system. You would format your volumes with it, right? And put your data on it.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not like so it is like you would not format your volume, for example, with extended 4 or ZFS. You would format your volume with this, and then that server would become your network attached storage, and you would start storing your data on this as your network shared store. Sorry, I forgot your exact question. Can you please repeat
Yeah.
that?
So I think where I was headed with it is really is say on a local machine by itself, say there's nothing attached. Is the data that's stored there when you do the replication and
It's local. It's local. The replication is local. The replication is local. If you get physical access to the system, unless you have other controls in place, it is possible to completely destroy that local copy. But in most practical places where we are deploying this, for example, we're deploying this in hospitals and in colleges, etc. The local copy is typically replicated on a tandem system, and then that replica is also backed up, and the backups are also safeguarded by this. And you can use any backup scheme. It doesn't necessarily need to be the backup scheme that we bring. There's a deployment we've done where there's like 2,000 computers, and they're backing up all of their computers with a product called Veeam, but we are actually the data store for the Veeam backups, because we can actually protect and validate that the backups don't have corruption in them. So it's a tool belt. It's a tool in the tool belt of ransomware protection. But the nice thing about it is, if because it's server side only and doesn't actually require any agents on Windows side, it is a lot easier to secure this environment. Especially in production, we don't give SSH access to the systems. It's pretty much a closed box, and in order to get physical admin, you would actually have to walk up to the console and log in through and then you can in defense sector, we can bind that to HSMs, and we can bind that to there's you can always provide the appropriate identity management and operational authorization control. There's a compendium software that is defense sector only that actually provides mandatory access control capabilities and caveat separation. So it is a very, it's a very, because it's a purely defensive system, and it only relies on the machine learning is completely reliant on just the data that you own, and it is not looking to identify malware, but just it bases its decisions on the interactions that happen with the data. You get a much better control system.
Okay, so what if, for example, we say there's a piece of software that does do a ton of writes, and your software kills it or isolates? What is that a thing?
No, it's not a thing. It's not a thing, because the ton of writes can take place, but the validity of those writes is, for example, we can run databases on this, and we have. Like, we run Microsoft SQL databases and store the tables, and those have tons of writes, right? And you can, and the interesting thing is, you can actually tune different volumes for different uses. Right now, it's manual. There is a version that we are going to be releasing in about 6 months that's going to make the question that you just asked me completely moot. Because in that version, we will be able to redirect the writes of the data to different types of devices and underlying storage based on the content and the metadata, and then tune it on different file types. But right now, it errs on the side of caution in the sense in terms of data protection. Here's the thing: we don't, in the design, we don't even trust the AI to always make the right decision. So therefore, the append-only log structure file system as the underlying store. right? Which is sitting as a bottom layer. And that bottom layer will always have the data. So if shit hits the fan, you can still pause everything and reconstruct your data and clean up and go on. And you can do that a lot faster with this, like in a matter of seconds, minutes, hours, as opposed to hours, days, months, right? This provides you with that foundational capability to be able to achieve these rapid get back to business capability.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't pretend to be like, oh, you will always have right, who like, because nobody can do that, but we can say that you can always get your data back if you do certain things. You can always get back to your data, and you can get back to your data really fast.
Yeah, I like this idea. I mean, I can definitely see where it fits into the market. I mean, this is it's a good approach for what it is. I mean, I guess in my mind, it's essentially a tool that just runs along, a primary solution or something. It's the same kind of thought process, I think.
Yeah, it's a data resilience solution, right? It's not a cyber defense solution. It's a data resilience. It's a defense solution in the sense that it's a data resilience solution, but it is not we are going to do active threat hunting.
Right. So have you thought about an approach that does tie the machines as like a blockchain among the machines? Have you thought about anything?
It optionally already has that.
Okay. So that makes sense. Why? Okay.
That's an optional underlying data store or index store or audit store or a permutation of all three.
Okay. This is good. I like this.
Right. As a matter of fact, internally, the neural nets. So the neural nets that run in this are at a block level. So every block gets its own kind of trained set of weights that is specific to that block, but they do a consensus algorithm amongst them in order to decide whether or not a total file is corrupt, or whether one of the neural nets that is comprised of the file that comprises the file has gone cuckoo and is mislabeling its output. So there's a lot of implementation complexity under it, but all of that is completely hidden under the file system layer, right? As far as the applications and the operating system is concerned, it's a POSIX compliant file system, and that's about it.
Interesting. This is good. I like this. Okay.
You said your name was Matt, correct?
Yeah.
Matt, can I beg leave for a little bit? I am actually supposed to be jumping on a call in 2 minutes. I will be back. Otherwise, I can share my contact information and we can jump on a Zoom call, or we can come back and jump on a Twitter call or whatever makes sense. And I will be happy to continue this conversation. It is I can talk about Resiliate, till cows come home, because this is a passion project for me, obviously. And I've been a kernel developer now for 29 years. A programmer for 33 years, and a cybersecurity products creator since 2002. So I poured all of my life into this new product, all of that experience into this. So I'm always happy to talk about it. But I've got a prior engagement that is starting in 1 minute. So
Okay.
if you will forgive me running away, I would be thankful.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I just to add real quick, I viewed you on LinkedIn
Oh,
with my profile, so you should see me completely doxed there, and I'll shoot you a message here on Twitter as well.
oh yeah, sounds good. So did you do you want to connect on LinkedIn? You're happy. I'm happy if you send me a
Yeah,
connection request there.
I'll do that.
All right, sir. And I'm accessible through LinkedIn, through Twitter, and also I will send you my Calendly, and you can pick a time that works for you, and we can jump on a Zoom call.
Yeah, that sounds good. And if you do have time, I'll probably be around for the better part of the day on Twitter
Oh,
Space.
okay. I should be back in about half an hour,
Okay.
45 minutes, something like that.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. This is
Thanks, Ahmed.
it's exciting. Thank you again. And Mike, thank you so much for making the connection, my friend.
No worries. I know you're busy, but there's not many people that believe that NFTs are worthless. So I thought I had to introduce.
Oh no, that I totally like. People have been trying to suck me into the NFT world, and I'm like, please leave me alone. I will talk to you later. Bye.
All right, take care. That's Ahmed.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really that's awesome. Yeah, seriously, thank you for that. That's the more he talked about his approach, the more I was like, okay, this.
Well, it's one of those things that
Okay.
the map is not the terrain, right? And so anyone can claim anything on a website, right? But I've not met many people who can do, like Ahmed was like showing me the software. I tagged you in it, right? It's a little video. He's like, here's what RM minus RF star means. I'm like, what's that? Remove with force? Do it verbosely? Oh, what? And I'm like, Linux sounds like Neo's Latin,
Delete the whole file system in one command. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. He was showing me that. And I'm like, what if we typed RM minus RF into a tweet? I wonder if that would fuck up somebody's bot. You could inject code using Twitter.
That's hilarious.
But just a good guy,
Yeah.
Right? Very kind guy. Most people in his situation, they're like, they put on this affectation of Nick fucking Fury.
Yeah.
Like, we get it, bro. We get it.
Yeah,
All
there
the
is a
world's
lot
a
of
stage.
ego in the cybersecurity space, I feel like. For sure.
It's funny. It's like, the hardest person in the room is probably the kindest person in the room. Trust me. You want to know who's hard? Talk to that Nigerian over there. Let him tell you what it's like in Lagos. Shut right up.
No doubt.
Right? Can you imagine? They'd be like, yeah, I worked on this and that, and there's this dude from Africa just sitting there. Oh, really? Yes, that's very impressive. Just keep paying me. Right? And they just keep quiet. It's funny. A lot of these people go and they'll sit there and get lectured to and not say anything.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed that the smartest people in the room, most of the time, they are the most quiet.
Yeah. And they just like, the conference is going on in the other room with some keynote and they're just like leaning up on the side of a wall.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like I was talking to a few people at the conference and it was like one guy was the DevOps guy. The other guy was the web guy. And between the two of them, they were managing websites for like half of the booths in the room.
Oh, shit.
And they were like, you guys aren't allowed to be on the same plane together. You're too valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been told that. That's before. Actually, that's funny.
Telling you.
I guess it's true. Like if you're working with like IP and stuff. Hold on one second.
Yeah. Well, you never know where these connections go, right? But it just, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of spaces talking about cybersecurity right now that are like, hey, you gotta use a password manager. And it's like, all right, well,
Yeah, shoot me. I mean, it really is hard to find people to talk to about 0-day ransomware, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, like, it's kind of funny because when I originally started coding when I was a kid, I was like ultra low level. Like, I was doing like kernel level stuff. I was in the IRC chats with like GeoHot when they were trying to hack the PS3 and some of the original iOS hacks. I was in the IRC chats with that. But like, as I got older, I was like, oh man, there's just not, I realized there's not a lot of money in that. At the time, I was like, oh, I could just do
in fracking.
Yeah, I was like, I could do higher level stuff. I could do websites. This is easier. So I started doing that kind of stuff, and then I went completely full circle, and I don't know. I think it's hilarious because it made me learn the entire stack all the way from the bottom to the top. But
Right.
but at the same time, it's funny because I don't know. Not a lot of people know anything about it. So yeah.
They'll tell you they do,
Yeah.
right? Like, as a glorified recruiter, it's like, I know what I know because I talk to people like you and Ahmed, right? But I'm not you or Ahmed. There's a difference.
Yeah, that you can tell when you speak to somebody, just it's their depth of knowledge, I guess you could say. Because
Yeah, most people are one Wikipedia article deep.
yeah, oh, that's hilarious.
2 paragraphs if they're really smart. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things like how many people. One of the things that people forget about, like being a developer, is like just the sheer amount of reading you have to do. It's astonishing how much reading you have to do.
Yeah, it's 24/7. Have you ever had to do any development or anything like that?
I like, I had a website back in the day with Missy Elliott MP3s, right? And like I build what I do now is because I'm launching these startups, I get them to where they need right now, right? So like, okay, we're gonna build a school in Ghana. Okay, we don't need something fancy. All right, here's the website. Look at it. There's a video playing on the landing page. You like that, don't you? Right? So, and then like, I was helping, evacuate people from Ukraine, right? Okay, we need another website just so that we can make sure we get the GoFundMe funnel going. Okay, here it is. Right? But again, I get bored quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It hold on one second.
So let me it's so funny. I had a few calls come in. So I'm sure we'll find each other. again
Yeah.
in the Web3 verse. It's so funny. Like, I went to the conference and they're like, "Hey, do you have a business card?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You don't?" I'm like, "You have a phone in your hand." I'm pretty sure I'm on one of the things you're on.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We can definitely keep in touch. I'm actually about to get in my car. I have to go somewhere too. So,
Nice.
so
Underground parking.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I'm normally on Twitter Spaces throughout the day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I see you or you see me, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll I do these like maybe like once a day, right? And we have like a small group of, you see what the vibe is, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's not many of us because it's not a popular vibe. Skepticism.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a life we've chosen. Right? If anything, we write software for the bear market. All right, all love, eh? All right, dope. We'll talk to you
I'll
soon.
be around.
Yeah, I'll find you. How'd I go?